I found the room on Reddit. Subreddit was r/room to rent. Clean post. Simple. Quiet room in a charming suburban home. Mature female host. No pets. $500 per month. Includes utilities. Too good to be true. I just moved across the country for a job that fell through. Burned through what little savings I had on motels. I was desperate. The woman who posted it was named Darlene. Her messages were polite, overly punctuated, and somehow maternal. She said I could move in that weekend. When I showed up, the house looked like a postcard. Ivy climbing the porch columns, fresh hydrangeas blooming in clay pots. She greeted me with a smile, cardigan buttoned tight despite the heat. "You look exhausted, sweetie," she said, ushering me inside. "Come in. The room's all ready." It was spotless. Floral curtains, wooden dresser, a bed that looked unused. I didn't even unpack. I passed out the second I hit the mattress. The first night, I heard coughing. Late, like close to 3 a.m. Deep old man coughing. I figured it was the neighbor. The walls were thin. The next morning over toast, I asked if the man next door was sick. Darlene blinked, then smiled. "Oh, you heard that?" she said cheerfully. That was probably coming from the vent. My late husband used to cough like that. My brain must be playing tricks on me. I gave a polite laugh, even though the explanation didn't make sense. Her husband had died 6 years ago. She mentioned it in the ad. Even had his obituary framed in the hallway. Cancer, peaceful passing. I chalked it up to nerves. But that night, I heard it again. Coughing, followed by footsteps. Not above me, not next to me. Below. Soft, shuffling steps, moving under my bed, then stopping. I froze. I didn't sleep. The next morning, Darlene had coffee waiting. "Rough night?" she asked, eyes kind. I nodded, trying not to sound paranoid. "You have a basement?" I asked casually. Her smile faltered just a bit. "Of course, but it's just storage. The door sticks. I haven't been down there in years." I didn't believe her. That afternoon, while she was out gardening, I checked. The basement door was painted the same color as the kitchen wall. Easy to miss. But it wasn't locked. It opened with a sharp creak. Dust spilled out. The light didn't work, so I used my phone's flashlight. Wooden stairs, cold air. The basement was packed. Boxes, old furniture, dusty mirrors. But what stood out was the far wall. There was a door. Steel. Padlocked. The air around it felt different, heavier, and from behind it, breathing. I ran. That night, I barricaded my door with a chair, slept in jeans, lights on. Around 2 a.m., I heard knocking. Slow, measured. Not at the front door, not at my bedroom door. From underneath the floorboards, 5 knocks. Then silence. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The next morning, Darlene acted like nothing happened. Made me French toast, said I looked pale. I told her I had a friend in town and might crash at their place. She smiled. "Well, if you decide to stay, just remember, some people never leave this house." She said it like a joke, but her eyes didn't smile. I packed a bag and walked out that afternoon. I didn't go to a friend's. I didn't have any in this city. I went to a library, spent hours scrolling archives. I found the obituary again, but this time, I searched deeper. Turns out, Darlene's husband didn't die in his sleep. The police report never made the papers, but it was there. He vanished. Last seen 6 years ago. No body, no charges, no funeral, just an assumption. Declared legally dead last year. I emailed the Reddit mod team, asked about the account that posted the room. The reply came quick. That account had only posted once, was created 6 days ago, then deleted. No history. No replies. No user ID traceable. I went back one last time. She wasn't home. I walked in through the back. The basement door opened easier this time. The padlock on the steel door? Broken. Hanging loose. I opened it. Inside was a small, soundproof room. Cinder block walls. A bed. A single overhead light. And scratch marks. On the walls. On the floor. On the door. Like fingernails dragged down again and again. On the bed was a pile of clothes, men's clothes, dusty, folded, and on top, a worn pair of slippers. Next to a plate, fresh crumbs still clinging to the edge. The smell was sharp, sweat, skin, something metallic underneath. I turned to leave, and then I heard it. Coughing. Right behind me. I never saw anyone. I ran. Didn't stop until I was 6 blocks away. I never reported it. What could I say? I didn't even have a lease. Just a Reddit post that never existed. But sometimes I check the subreddit. Every now and then, a new listing appears. Same phrasing, same price, same sweet tone, and always one rule. Please don't go in the basement. My late husband still hates visitors. I posted a roommate ad on Reddit after my last roommate moved out. It was simple. 2-bedroom, top-floor apartment, decent rent split. I asked for someone clean, quiet, and employed. He replied within the hour. No intro, no questions. Just, I'm interested. I can move in immediately. I don't eat much. His username was something forgettable, a string of letters and numbers. But his message was polite. Director. We met the next day. He was plain. Short hair. Wore a button-down tucked into jeans. Carried one duffel bag and a plastic grocery bag with a single pair of shoes inside. Didn't smile much, but didn't creep me out either. Name's Tom, he said. That was it. No last name. No handshake. Still, I needed the money. He paid first and last month's rent in cash. Moved in that night. That's when things started to feel off. He didn't unpack. The duffel bag stayed zipped, untouched, for days. He never left the room. No work, no errands, no deliveries. But I heard him. Moving. Constant shifting at night. Soft footsteps pacing back and forth across the hardwood. A chair creaking, like he was sitting, standing, sitting again. I'd knock occasionally, ask if he needed anything. He'd always answer the same way. No, thank you. Polite. Neutral. Always behind the door. I stopped knocking. Then came the smell. It wasn't strong, but it was strange. Like plastic and metal. Like the scent of a freezer that's been left open just a little too long. I tried to ignore it. Until one night I came home from work and opened my closet to find nothing. Every piece of clothing was gone. Drawers empty. Laundry bin dumped. I checked the living room, the kitchen, the dryer. Then I saw the door to Tom's room was open. First time since he moved in. I stepped in. He was standing there, in the center of the room, wearing everything I owned, layer upon layer, hoodie over shirts, over undershirts, 2 pairs of my jeans, stretched, socks pulled over socks, even my old winter coat I'd shoved in the back of the closet, all of it, on him. He just stood there, not blinking, smiling. I backed out slowly, closed the door, locked my bedroom, didn't sleep. The next morning, he was at the table, still wearing the clothes, eating dry cereal with his hands. I tried to stay calm, asked if he was okay. He nodded, said, "You said I could move in." That's when I realized he had never signed anything. No lease, no ID, no emergency contact, just cash and silence. I told him he needed to leave, gave him 24 hours. He said nothing. Just walked back to his room and closed the door. That night I came home to find my mattress slashed open. Every drawer pulled out, silverware missing, bathroom mirror cracked. His door? Still shut. I called the police. They came, took a report, knocked on his door. No answer. They opened it. Empty. No duffel. No clothes. No Tom. Gone. The cops were confused, but not alarmed. Said it looked like he bailed. They filed it as unauthorized occupancy with property damage. Told me to change the locks. So I did. I cleaned up, took 2 days off work, tried to forget it. But a week later, I got a package. No return address. Inside was a single Polaroid photo of me, sleeping, taken from inside my room. Next to it, a note. You said I could move in. I moved apartments that weekend. Different neighborhood. Locked gates. New number. Didn't post anything on Reddit for a long time. But a few months later, I slipped up. Posted a comment on a subreddit. Vented about weird roommate experiences. An hour later, I got a reply. Thanks for letting me stay. I froze, checked the username. New account, no history, just one post. Looking for a room. I don't eat much. I changed my account. Wiped my posts. Went offline. But it doesn't matter. He finds me. Every time I move, every time I feel safe, I get another envelope. Always hand-delivered. Always after I've been asleep. Each one contains a new photo. Me brushing my teeth. Me walking into my building. Me unlocking the front door. Always from the shadows. Always from just far enough to remind me. He never really left. It was just a vent post, posted under a throwaway on r/workrant. Nothing identifiable, no names, no company. Just a tired, anonymous brain dump at 2 a.m. about my awful job and the people slowly bleeding me dry. I called my boss a clipboard with teeth. Said my coworkers were all corporate toddlers with deadlines. Labeled our manager's bonus incentives as manipulative gold star nonsense for adults who peaked in middle school. I remember writing that part. I was proud of it. I got some upvotes, a few same comments. Then I forgot about it. Until the next morning. I was sitting at my desk, trying not to cry into my 5th cup of break room coffee, when Tom walked by. He's quiet. Always has earbuds in. Never really makes eye contact. But this time he stopped. He smiled, then said, "A clipboard with teeth, huh?" My blood ran cold. I laughed nervously. "What?" He kept smiling. Then, leaning a little closer, he said, soft and smooth, "Corporate toddlers with deadlines." Word for word. I stared at him. I hadn't told anyone about the post. Hadn't posted it from work. Didn't use my name. No email linked. No IP traceable to the office. He shouldn't have known. Before I could say anything, he walked off, like it never happened. That afternoon, I checked the post. It was gone. Deleted. Not by me. I tried logging into the account. Password wrong. Email reset. Account suspended for terms of service violations. I submitted a support ticket. Never heard back. That night, I dreamt about my desk, only it wasn't mine anymore. Tom was sitting in my chair, typing, over and over. "You're not anonymous." The next day I asked him how he knew about the post. He looked up from his screen, blinked like I'd interrupted something and said, "What post?" I didn't press. Instead, I deleted every Reddit account I'd ever made. Burners, mains, even old ones from college. Wiped them. But 2 days later, I got an email. No subject, no sender, just one line in the body. "You can delete the post. You can't delete the truth." Attached was a screenshot, a draft, of a new Reddit post I hadn't written yet. Titled, "Update. My coworker is watching me." The body? Blank. Just a blinking cursor. Waiting. That night, I unplugged my router, shut down all devices, slept in silence. Until 3:17 a.m., when my phone lit up, powered off, or so I thought. New notification. "Tom replied to your post." The screen blinked once, then went black. I didn't sleep after that. The next morning, I walked into the office and found a folded piece of paper on my keyboard. Typed. No header. "You're still logged in." That's all it said. I asked IT to check for any breaches. They ran diagnostics, said there was no unusual activity, no logins outside my own, no drafts saved, no tracking software. Then they showed me the access log. Last login, 2:12 a.m. I was asleep. They brushed it off, but I didn't. I bought a new phone, switched carriers, new email, new accounts. But it didn't matter, because every time I tried to post online, Reddit, Twitter, anything, I'd get a response within minutes. From him. Sometimes vague, sometimes word for word what I was about to post. One time, I hadn't even hit submit yet, and I got a reply. Why bother? Then it escalated. One day I was ranting to a coworker in private about our manager. She laughed, said she agreed. The next day, she was gone. Desk cleared. Email disabled. No goodbye. Tom was promoted that week. His new office, right beside mine. No windows, just walls, thin ones. I started hearing typing. Constant, mechanical, unbroken. Even when I knew he wasn't in there. And every now and then, I'd pass his open door and see his screen. Reddit. Always Reddit. But never the homepage, just threads. All about me. Posts I hadn't written yet. Conversations I hadn't started. Responses I hadn't sent. And always at the top. "You're not anonymous." I reported him to HR. They said he'd never worked here, that I was in that office alone. I checked payroll. No Tom listed anywhere. Security footage? His office door never opened, never closed, just stayed still. Still as a blank screen. I went home and found my laptop on. Camera light blinking. A new document open. No title, no text. Just one line at the top. "Tell them what you saw." I slammed it shut. I haven't used it since. That was a month ago. I don't go to work anymore. Doesn't matter. Tom still replies to every post I try to write, even in drafts, even offline. And now, he's not just replying, he's writing them for me. I used to love Reddit Secret Santa. There was something weirdly wholesome about it. Strangers sending gifts to other strangers across the world, sometimes thoughtful, sometimes funny, sometimes over-the-top extravagant. My first year, I got a box of snacks from Japan. Second year, a graphic novel and a mug shaped like a dinosaur. Then came year 3. That's the one I don't talk about. I was matched with a user named u/sweeter-than-bone. Creepy, sure. But so were most Reddit usernames. They didn't message me, no pleasantries, no requests. Just silence. Until the package arrived. Small, plain. Padded envelope. Return address, blank. Inside was a jewelry box, velvet lined. And resting inside, wrapped in a piece of tissue paper, was a human tooth. Molar. Yellowed. Still flecked with dried blood at the root. At first I thought it was a prank, an edgy gag gift. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized this wasn't from a novelty shop. This was real. I posted about it on the Secret Santa subreddit. Blurred the photos. Asked if anyone had ever gotten something like that. The post was removed within 5 minutes. Then I got a message. "You're not supposed to tell." The sender? u/sweeter-than-bone. It was their only post. Only message. Their account was suspended an hour later. I tried to forget it. Tossed the box, blocked the user, wrote it off as a one-time glitch in the system. But the next year, it happened again. Different user, new match, same type of envelope. Inside, a lock of hair, tied neatly with a red thread, tucked into a folded napkin with the words, "Something to remember me by." No jewelry box this time. No note. I filed a complaint. Contacted the mods. They told me the user was already under investigation. Asked if I'd experienced anything else unusual. I said no. Because what was I supposed to say? That I'd been hearing whispering near my door at night. That I found a handprint on my bathroom mirror after I'd wiped it clean. That my cat had started sitting at the foot of my bed and growling at the window. They'd call me paranoid. I told myself I was. Until I stopped participating. Year 5, I didn't sign up. I deleted the subreddit from my account. Cleared my saved addresses. Changed my username. Thought I was in the clear. Then, 2 weeks before Christmas, I got a letter. No stamp. Just left in my mailbox. Inside was a single sheet of paper. One sentence, typed, "You were fun while you lasted." No signature, no return. But tucked behind the note was a fingernail, clipped, filed, painted the same shade I'd been wearing the month before. That's when I moved. New city, new job, new Reddit account, new everything. Blocked the old subs, set every account to private. I even stopped checking my real mail. But that didn't stop it, because last week, almost a year later, I got a knock on my door. No one was there, just a small box, wrapped in black paper, no tape. Inside was a Polaroid photo. A man, middle-aged, pale, eyes rolled back, mouth stretched open in a silent scream, tied to a chair, head tilted just enough to show a gap where a tooth should have been, the same molar I'd received in year 3. I flipped the photo over. One sentence, written in red ink. Gift giving is about connection. I threw up, called the police. They took the box, asked if I'd been receiving threats. I showed them what I could. They said it sounded like a hoax, told me to keep my doors locked. I asked if they could trace the sender. They said without a return address or fingerprints, there was nothing they could do. That night I stayed awake. Lights on, phone charged, knife under the pillow. At 3:14 a.m., I got a Reddit notification. New message, new account, 0 karma. No username, just symbols. The message? Don't be afraid, the next one is yours. Attached was a photo of me, sleeping. Same bed, same room, taken from inside, from the foot of the bed. There was no timestamp, but on my nightstand was the jewelry box, the first one, closed, perfectly centered. I don't know how it got there. I'd thrown it away, burned it, watched it crack and smoke, but it was back. And when I opened it, the tooth was still inside, clean this time, polished, shining, like it had never left. It started with a compliment. I'd posted a photo in r/makeup addiction, soft glam look, nothing crazy. Got a few upvotes, some standard "you look great" comments. But one stood out. You're mesmerizing. Eyes like a secret. I replied with a polite thank you and moved on. A day later, I saw the same user comment on a thread I posted in r/books. The way you write, it feels like you're right next to me. I didn't think much of it. Maybe he was just active in the same circles. Then he popped up again. Our casual conversation, our fitness, our cooking for one. Every post I made, every comment, even the throwaway ones, he was there. Always kind. Always just a little too observant. You really love pasta, huh? I noticed you've been sleeping late. Rest is important. Still using the blue mug with the chip on the side? That one stopped me. I had mentioned the mug in a comment once, months ago. Never posted a picture. How would he know it was blue? I clicked his profile. Nothing. No posts, no history. Just comments. All on my threads. I messaged him. Asked why he was following me. He replied instantly. I like watching your life unfold. I blocked him. Made my profile private. Created a new account under a fake name. Didn't post. Didn't comment. Just lurked. Thought I'd lost him. Until I got a message on the new account. No username. Just a string of random characters. The message? You don't need to pretend. I'd know you anywhere. Attached was a screenshot of my laptop. Open to Reddit. Same thread I was reading. Same timestamp. Taken from behind me. I turned around. No one. I closed the blinds. Locked the door. Deleted the account. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I walked to the coffee shop down the block. I go there often. It's quiet. Familiar. The barista smiled when she saw me. Said, "Your friend left already." I blinked. "What friend?" She tilted her head. "Guy in the gray hoodie? Said he'd grab you a seat." I didn't sit. Didn't get coffee. Went home and checked my camera doorbell history. There was a clip. From 4:23 a.m. A man, standing just outside the frame, looking up at the lens, smiling. The app glitched when I tried to replay it. Corrupted. I called the police. Filed a report. Gave them the screenshots, the messages, the footage. They said they'd look into it. That was a week ago. Yesterday I got a letter. Hand-delivered. No stamp, no address. Inside was a drawing. Pencil sketch. 2 figures. One curled in a chair, holding a chipped mug. The other standing behind them, smiling. Watching. I turned it over. Every subreddit, every step, I followed because you left breadcrumbs. Then, in tiny script at the bottom, turn around. I did. Nothing. But now I can't stop feeling it. That weight, that pressure, like I'm never really alone. I stopped posting, stopped scrolling, stopped going out. But last night, my phone buzzed. New Reddit notification. A message. The account had my new username. One I never gave anyone. The message: I'm not online anymore. I'm in your world now. And then a photo, taken from my hallway. The door cracked open. My silhouette sitting at the desk. Phone in hand, typing. It took me 4 years to work up the courage to talk about what happened. When I finally posted the AMA, I used a burner account. I was careful. No names, no locations, nothing identifying. The title was, I Escaped an Abusive Relationship with My Ex, AMA. Within an hour, it was trending. People were kind, supportive, curious but respectful. I answered questions slowly, typing between waves of anxiety. Some people asked about recovery, others about red flags. I kept it vague. He didn't deserve detail, just truth. Then, 2 hours in, a new comment appeared. Simple. You left out the part where you begged me to stop. It stopped me cold. My fingers froze above the keys. The username was strange. A combination of numbers and letters, nothing that stood out, except to me. Because in the middle of that gibberish string was a word. A nickname he used. One he made up. Something no one else would know. I stared at the screen, heart racing. I didn't reply. I refreshed. The comment was gone, deleted, but the username remained. I clicked it. Brand new account. Only activity. That comment. Then a second one popped up. You always were dramatic. This time, it stayed long enough for others to see. I got a DM from a mod. Asked if I was okay. Said they banned the account and logged the IP. I told them I was fine. I wasn't. I locked my doors, closed my curtains, checked the windows twice. I hadn't seen him in years. He wasn't supposed to know where I lived. I'd moved, changed cities, changed my name. But the next day, I got a letter. No return address, just one line, written on an index card. The house looks better with the red curtains. I hadn't posted photos, hadn't shared my address, hadn't told anyone about the curtains. I ripped them down that night. I went back to the AMA thread, deleted everything, nuked the account. It didn't help. The next night, another letter, no words this time, just a photo. My childhood home, backyard, swing set. My sister and I sitting in the grass, maybe 5 years old. It wasn't a copy, it was the original. That photo had been inside a box in my mother's attic. It had never been online. The last person to see it was him, back when I trusted him enough to bring him home. I called the police, filed a report, showed them the photo, the letters, the Reddit account. They said they'd make a note. Said without a threat, there wasn't much they could do. They offered to send someone by the house a few times a week. I didn't feel safer. 3 days later, a neighbor knocked on my door. Said she'd seen a man sitting in a car across the street, parked for hours, not moving. She tried to get a plate number, but the car vanished before she could. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with a kitchen knife and the lights off, and at 3:08 a.m., I heard it. Tap, 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 not at the door, at the window. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared at the blinds, heart pounding. The tapping stopped. A minute later, my phone buzzed. New Reddit notification, new account. Message: you still beg real pretty. That was it. I left town the next morning. No goodbyes, no forwarding address. Burned the SIM card, checked into a hotel 5 towns over. But when I opened the room, there was an envelope on the nightstand. Typed, same font. AMA. I caught up with her. Inside was a flash drive. I never plugged it in. I threw it into the river behind the hotel. Checked out. Kept driving. I haven't stopped yet. I don't post anymore. Don't comment. Don't read. But sometimes, I get the urge to look. And when I do, there's a post waiting from a burner account. Always recent, always short. Ask me anything, I know what she did. And sometimes, it gets upvoted. I needed a cheap laptop. Nothing fancy. Just something to job hunt with, maybe stream movies, keep my brain from melting while I figured my life out. Found one on Facebook Marketplace for $120. The seller said he'd upgraded and just wanted it gone. Factory reset. Works great. We met in a grocery store parking lot. He handed me the laptop, already powered off. Thin, light, a little scuffed around the keyboard. He looked normal. Hoodie, ball cap, smelled faintly like cologne and burnt coffee. I asked if he had the charger. He handed it over without a word. Then he smiled. Don't look too deep. I laughed awkwardly, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. When I got home and booted it up, I saw the desktop immediately. No factory reset, no guest account, just one user. Admin. No password. The desktop was cluttered with folders. Dozens of them, all with names. Some were first names, some were full, some just initials. All of them dated. Each folder had one or more subfolders inside, labeled with addresses, dates, weather reports, and photos. I clicked on the first folder. Inside, a woman, maybe mid-30s, brushing her hair in a bathroom mirror. Another of her cooking. Another of her reading a book in bed. All taken from outside the house. Through windows, through cracks and blinds, through glass doors at night. Every single one was labeled. Time, location, angle. Some were tagged with things like unaware, curtains open, or bathroom routine, Thurs. I closed the folder. Tried to tell myself it was some kind of art project, a photography thing. But the next folder was worse. A man, maybe late 50s, seated at his kitchen table staring at the wall. Multiple shots, same time of day, same seat. Final photo in the set? Him looking directly at the camera. Expression blank, eyes glazed, and blood on his shirt. I backed away from the desk, closed the laptop, tried to breathe, then opened it again. I had to know. Folder after folder, hundreds of photos, all from outside homes, apartments, offices, some daytime, some night, some with curtains wide open, some so zoomed in I could see the sweat on people's necks. And then I found my name, a folder labeled with my full name. Shaking, I clicked. Inside were 4 photos. First, me, walking into my apartment building. Second, me, unlocking my front door. Third, me, asleep in bed. Side view, taken from my bedroom window. Fourth, me, right now, sitting at the desk, looking at the screen. I snapped around. Nothing. Window closed. No one there. I slammed the laptop shut, grabbed my phone, and called the police. They came. I showed them everything. They took the laptop, filed a report, said they'd look into the seller. I gave them the Facebook account and the number. Both were already gone. Deleted. The police called a few days later, said the laptop was under further review. No comment on what they'd found. Told me to call if anything else happened. That night I checked my mail. There was a package, no return address. Inside, a USB stick, and a note, typed, clean. You were supposed to reset it. I plugged the USB into an old burner laptop I hadn't used in years. Only one file on it, a video, low res, static filled, security cam angle. It showed me, sleeping, my door opening, a man stepping inside. He walked up to the camera, looked straight into it, and smiled. The same smile the seller had. The video cut out after that. I moved the next day. Didn't tell anyone where. New number, new email, no online listings. I didn't even bring the old burner laptop. But 2 weeks later, I got another package. Same size. Inside, just a single Polaroid photo. The outside of my new building. My window circled in red marker. And on the back, folder ready. My sister disappeared last summer. Vanished after her shift at the coffee shop. No signs of struggle. No suspicious coworkers. Phone last pinged a few blocks from her apartment, then silence. I posted about it everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. The one that got the most traction was on r/missing persons. I uploaded her photo, gave the facts. Last seen July 12th, wearing a green hoodie and black leggings, 5 feet 6 inches, brown eyes, dimple on her left cheek. Smart, kind. Always answered texts, not this time. People offered kind words, theories, possible leads. Nothing solid. Then, a week in, I got a comment. No upvotes. Buried halfway down the thread. She's not missing. She's with me. I stared at it for a long time. Clicked the username. New account. No history. No posts. I replied. If this is a joke, I swear. They responded immediately. Check the playlist. I didn't understand. Then I saw the link. A Spotify playlist titled For Her. The cover photo was a blurry shot of my sister's favorite mug, the one only we would recognize. My blood turned to ice. I opened the playlist, 40 tracks, each one, a message. Song 1, Can't Find My Way Home. Song 3, Under Your Nose. Song 7, Come Alone. Song 13, Near the River. Track 21 was a location, an actual title. 47.6215 degrees north, 122.3493 degrees west. I plugged it into Google Maps, a park, 10 miles from her apartment, the same park where she used to walk her dog. I called the police, told them everything. They took it seriously, surprisingly. A unit went to the park. They found nothing. But I didn't believe that. Not after track 29. You're too late. And track 32. I let her rest. Then track 40. No title. Just a single private audio message. I clicked it. Soft guitar. Then a voice. Male. Calm. Close to the mic. I thought you'd find this sooner. She asked for you. She said your birthday. She cried when I played your voicemail. I kept her warm. Silence. Then, now you can join her. That night, I didn't sleep. The police said they couldn't trace the account. Said it was routed through a dozen IPs. Said they flagged the playlist, but it disappeared before they could archive it. Gone. Deleted. Like it was never there. Then, 3 days later, someone found her. Not alive. Her body was discovered near a creek bed 2 counties over. Wrapped in a quilt. One the police said looked handmade. And tucked into the folds, an old MP3 player. Wiped clean. Except for one song. Come Alone. I asked if it was the same version from the playlist. They couldn't tell me. Said the file had been corrupted. No metadata. The autopsy ruled cause of death as exposure. No bruises. No signs of assault. Like someone laid her down and walked away. Let her fade. And the worst part? There was a note in her pocket. Torn paper. 5 words. He said you'd understand. I didn't. Still don't. The police have no suspects, no leads. The Reddit account that commented? Deleted. The IP? Dead end. But sometimes I open Spotify and search for her name. Just to see. And once, just once, a playlist popped up. No cover photo. No description. One track. Titled, You're Next. I clicked it. It was her voice, whispering, panicked, breathing heavy, saying my name. Then behind her, louder, his voice. Found you. I smashed the laptop. Haven't used it since. I sleep with the lights on, every night, because sometimes I think I hear a song playing. Just faint enough to doubt it. And once, last week, I found a CD in my mailbox. No case, no label. Just Sharpie across the top. For you. I haven't played it. I won't, because I already know what it says. And I'm afraid the last track will be silence. The listing looked legit, posted to a subreddit I followed for side gigs. Simple title, cash work, no experience needed, immediate start. The description said, manual labor, basic tasks, Paid in cash, daily. Transportation provided. Meals included. Too good to be true? Sure, but I was broke. Rent overdue, credit maxed, refrigerator humming and empty, so I messaged the poster. They responded within 10 minutes, told me to meet a van at a corner near the freeway at 7 a.m. the next morning. Said the job was a short-term gig outside the city. No phones allowed on site. Bring an ID for payroll, but no copies would be made. I'd be home in a week. I should have asked more questions. Instead, I showed up. The van was matte black. No plates. Driver wore mirrored sunglasses and didn't speak. 4 other guys were already in the back, all silent, all avoiding eye contact. I climbed in. Door slammed. We drove for hours. Eventually signal dropped. The road turned from pavement to gravel to dirt. We arrived at a compound surrounded by trees, fenced, remote. They took our phones and wallets, said it was for security reasons. Then they walked us to a large metal building. Inside were rows of cots, buckets, no windows. That's when the doors locked behind us. A voice over a speaker crackled. Welcome. You'll be given tasks. Follow instructions. Complete them without question, and you'll be returned. Interfere, and you'll be removed. That first night, no one spoke. One guy, tall, early 20s, kept muttering something about a Craigslist post. Another stared at the door like he could will it open. The lights never turned off. At 5 a.m., the voice returned. Stand by your cot. Wait for your number. Each of us had been assigned one. Mine was 12. Number 12, the voice called. Report to Section C. I was led down a long hallway, past rooms I wasn't allowed to look into. Inside Section C was a massive open pit. They handed me a shovel and pointed at the ground. Dig. So I did. The soil was dark, heavy, reeking of bleach and rot. Every now and then, I'd hit something hard. Metal, wood. Once, something soft that squelched. I didn't ask questions. I didn't stop. We got 2 meals a day, grayish protein paste and lukewarm water. We were allowed 1 5-minute break every 8 hours. No clocks, no sun. We worked 19-hour shifts, slept in full light. The guards never removed their masks, just barked orders. One guy tried to run on day 4. They caught him before he reached the trees. We never saw him again. His cot stayed empty for a few hours. Then a new person arrived. No questions, no belongings. Same number assigned, same tasks given. When I tried to whisper to him that it was a trap, he just stared at me, like he already knew. That night, I carved help into the underside of my cot. When I woke up, it had been sanded smooth. On day 6, I overheard 2 guards talking in the hallway. One said, "This batch is almost spent." The other replied, "We'll harvest the footage, then recycle what we can." I don't know what they meant. But later that day, a box was delivered to the workroom. It contained camcorders, each labeled, each with a name. My name was on one of them. They handed it to me, told me to record myself digging. Said it was for quality assurance. When I asked what that meant, a guard cocked his head and said, "So they know you earned your burial." I didn't sleep that night. Planned to escape at first light. But when morning came, there were only 3 of us left. Everyone else, gone. Their cots stripped, their buckets emptied, their numbers reassigned. One of the remaining guys, number 4, pulled me aside. Said he'd been here before. Said they let him go last time. "But they kept watching," he whispered. "They're building something, not a place, a product." He showed me a scar on his back. Said it didn't exist before the job. It looked like a barcode. That night, I stopped pretending. I waited, watched. At 2:14 a.m., a panel behind the cots opened. Just a crack. A breeze flowed in. I ran. Down a corridor. Past the pit. Past the rooms filled with bins I didn't want to see. Found my phone and wallet in a locker. No one stopped me. No alarm. Like they wanted me to leave. I hitched a ride from a trucker at dawn. Didn't say a word. Just stared out the window. When I got home, my Reddit DMs were full. Dozens of messages, all from random accounts, all with the same sentence. "We liked watching you dig." And the one that chilled me most? From a username I'd never seen. Profile picture was me, in the pit. Message said, "You're back early. We weren't done." The envelope was thick, no return address, no stamp. Just my name, full name, written in all caps across the front. I almost didn't open it. Thought it was junk mail, or a scam. But something about the weight made me curious. Inside was a printed stack of paper, pages and pages, each sheet clipped together by section, and at the very top, a sticky note. "Thought you might want to see yourself. A fan." The first section? My Reddit post history. All of it. Every comment. Every post. Even deleted ones. Even stuff from burner accounts. At first, I laughed. Figured someone used a scraping tool. Maybe got bored. Then I saw the highlights. Each page was annotated. Yellow lines under my confessions. Green around anything I wrote between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Red boxes around every mention of loneliness. In the margins, notes like, "She cries here." They never replied. He noticed. Why did he delete this one? I flipped faster. Next section was DMS, private conversations, threads long gone, even ones I never replied to, even ones I never sent, drafts, unsent rants, half-typed comments I backspaced before posting. They were all there. Every thought I almost shared. Captured. Then came the worst part. The photos. Screenshots of my Reddit browsing. Not posts. My screen. Photos of my laptop open. My phone at night. My Reddit tabs. From behind. From the side. From inside my room. One photo showed me curled on the couch, scrolling. Timestamp 2 weeks ago. The lights were off. I didn't remember anyone being there. Didn't hear anything. Didn't feel anything. But the photo was real. The angle? From the hallway. Another photo showed my screen as I typed a comment about feeling watched. Below it, the caption, "You were right." I dropped the stack, paced the room, checked the locks, the windows, called the cops, filed a report. They shrugged it off, said it was probably online harassment, told me to log off for a bit, maybe get a new device. They didn't take the envelope, didn't even fingerprint it, just added my name to a clipboard and told me to call back if anything escalated. It escalated the next morning. Another envelope. Thinner this time. Inside? A single page. My Reddit search history. Stuff I looked up when I couldn't sleep. Questions I never dared post. Why do I feel like I'm not alone? How to know if a hidden camera is in your room. And at the bottom, how to disappear completely. Underlined in black ink. The next night, I stayed up. Lights on, phone recording. Watched the door, the hallway, the windows. No one came. At 3:17 a.m., my router blinked out. My phone buzzed once. New Reddit message. From an account with no name, just a dash. The message? "Don't stay awake next time." I moved the next day. Didn't pack everything, didn't tell anyone. Left the laptop behind. Bought a flip phone. No Wi-Fi, no Reddit, no usernames. It worked. For a while. Until last week. When a manila envelope showed up at the front desk of my building. No name, no room number, just "For you" in the corner. Inside, my Reddit history, printed, again, updated, fresh ink, and this time, at the very bottom, a new sticky note. "You can't log out. I'm already inside."